The Masala Chai with Dr. Aunties. I'm Nithya. I'm a mom to three boys and a family medicine physician and fourth trimester care doc. And I'll go and let Sonal introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Sonal. I'm a pediatrician, mom of four boys, and also, this has been so much fun. We've done a couple of episodes, and so today we're going to be talking about trends of Ayurvedic postpartum meals. And Nithya, I tell you, when I remember walking into a home visit. I'm a home visit doctor, so I went into a home visit, postpartum home visit, and this doula was there. So doula, great support. If you guys can do it, awesome doulas all around the country. She was making this Ayurvedic dish to nourish the mom, and they're both Caucasians. And I want to point that out for just one reason, and you'll know the reason there. Literally, it was dal. It was dal that she was making. And I was like, that smells very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of hit me is that the Indian, again, like I laugh because the Indian culture, what happens, people take the Ayurvedic, now that's a trend now, right? It's like Ayurvedic food and Ayurvedic this and Ayurvedic that, and turmeric is everywhere. And you're like, I've been eating turmeric all my life. I don't know about you, but in my mother-in-law's house, whenever there was a cough, even my kids have been subjected to this. They would she puts turmeric with water and blends it, and you're supposed to take it and have follow it with honey when it's age appropriate. I mean, that's anti-inflammatory, and honey has so many benefits. So,
my mom used to do something similar. She would take milk and mix in saffron and turmeric and honey into the milk, and then give us a warm cup of milk with all of that in there. And it was actually pretty delicious. Sometimes I would just make it myself in college just because it was yummy. But it's so interesting that you bring up this point that people are kind of selling this now, right, as a trend or a popular thing. And I'm like, that's lunch, right? That is the lunch my mom made for me when I came home from the hospital, not because it was Ayurvedic, but because that was what traditionally they always made for postpartum moms or for anyone, right? My kids, one of their first food is always dal rice. They always tried dal rice first before anything else. And I mean, it's great, right? It has a lot of protein. It has all these great nutrients in it. So it has all these great properties to support your health and healing and well-being. But it's just lunch. It's not Ayurvedic medicine to me, right? That's just what my mom made for me when I came home from the hospital.
Oh, definitely. And ginger and garlic and all those properties. And you're like, well, that was dinner with
right.
chicken. That's what you had. You had butter, you had a chicken dish, and your mom put ginger and garlic and all of that stuff. So my mother-in-law, actually, we were researching all of this, and we thought maybe we would do an arm of Ayurvedic stuff. And one of the recipes that came up involved dates and involved coconut and involved other nuts and stuff in it. And it was, the way that was presented was, oh, this is an Ayurvedic thing. But my mother-in-law had made it for me when I had my kids, because apparently dates have a cooling property. The nuts in there, obviously it helps boost breast milk supply, and it nourishes your own body and everything. And it was just really interesting to be like, wait a minute, you fed me that, and why is it being told to me that it's something I have to buy now?
Right.
Oh,
that's so funny.
So I think my whole point is, for any women who are, or in particularly South Asian culture, our diet is one of the best diets in our traditional diets. Let's kind of rephrase that, because Indian restaurant diet is not that is not what we eat at all at home. But our traditional diet we have proteins in a form of a dal. We have vegetables always. We have a sort of bread with it. And then even those rotis, depending on where part of India you're from, they're pretty, they can be as thin as the Gujarati ones, but a little thick too as Punjabis, but nothing too overly there. And I mean, and then the spices that go in there are your Ayurvedic spices. So I guess my take is, listen to your mom, listen to your mother-in-law, and learn how to make that food now for your kids. Oh, But yeah, so don't get sold on it. Just call your mom or mother-in-law. Be like, hey, could you make
Yeah.
this for me?
Right, exactly. Like you already have that resource there. And I think that's another thing that is like so important to realize is that our moms are such a fantastic resource and we can learn so much from them. And I think a lot of things in American culture and society really don't want you to trust your instincts or your parents' instincts. And I think a lot of times, like those instincts are right. You know, there are times where things might not be safe, and that's when it's important to talk to your doctor if there's something you're concerned about and make sure what's going on is safe. But I think for most things, you can just trust yourself and trust your parents and trust that that generational knowledge that's being passed down is accurate and you know is good. And like we're actually finding evidence, right, that some of that is true. Like we know that garlic, you know, kind of helps with inflammation and things like that. And the same thing for turmeric. We're starting to see all those things now in the evidence, but there are things that we already knew and that our parents knew and their parents knew. And so I think just take that advice and listen to your parents and listen to your in-laws and take all of it with a grain of salt, right? Like not all of it's going to be perfect,
Yeah,
but there is this wealth of knowledge and information that I think that, you know, it's been lost and is being lost and we just need to take advantage of it.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And last tidbit for any other people who are listening, if you go to an Indian store, all those spices are much, much cheaper than any Whole Foods, National Grocers, or whatever organic place that you guys have. Just visit your local Indian store. You'll be shocked that turmeric does not cost $10 a pound at places. And you'll be like, oh, this is not that great, or this is not that expensive. So but that was our take on Ayurvedic food in the postpartum period. Key thing, guys, just listen to your mom. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think both of us can agree that we are all for
Yeah,
this delicious, amazing Ayurvedic food,
yeah.
or
Dal,
as I like to call it, food.
right? Or lunch or dinner or just dal. That's just dal. So till next time, guys, we'll see you later. Bye.